Hey everybody, welcome to The Secret Glow. Great to be with you again in Pennsylvania on a humid, overcast, sometimes rainy day, few days really, on the back porch. And very special guest, very special guest, esteemed guest with us today, Giovanni Piergrossi, the great, the protege, the next level 2.0. He's with us. He's here. He's
That's
ready
me.
to dispense all there is to dispense: the wisdom, the ingenuity, the insights, the inspirations, the shifts in consciousness, the awakenings, the perspectives that open you to new, unparalleled heights and depths. He's here. Very special episode. We call it a master class. In this class, you will discover and uncover everything there is to know to master your life, to take your life to the next level, to take your life in all the primary areas where you want to take it, to take the reins, to live consciously, to live from a place of consciousness and intentionality. This is the moment we've been waiting for. It's all been given to this young man by me. And he will, with my support and assistance, tell you all you need to know. I really built you up. You feel pressure? You feel nervous?
I think you might overdid a little bit.
You feel stressed? I might overdid it slightly, just slightly. Annie's behind the camera. She's assisting too.
Yep.
And
We got a
she might
ciao
share.
ragazzi on here.
She might share a few things. A what?
Ciao ragazzi from Lucia. Probably coming in from Italy.
Oh, ciao.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
Lucia Vara.
Are we on the main page again? Did I mess up pushing the main page
I'm
again?
not sure. Val Tignini's here.
Oh, we're on the main page.
Okay.
Okay, so I did it again. I
Jessica
put us on the
Erickson.
main page instead of the secret glow. So that's just the way it is. That's just the way it's going to be for now. So welcome everybody, whoever you are, wherever you are. You're always in the right place at the right time. You're always in the right place at the right time. Hafiz said, this place where you are right now, God circled on a map for you. That's what Hafiz said. You know what Hafiz is?
No.
He's kind of like a, well, I don't want to say he's kind of like, he was of the lineage of Rumi. So he's a Sufi, he was a poet. And he said, this place where you are right now, on this, what do we call this, a couch? This couch on the back porch, this place where you are right now, in this exact moment, in this time, whatever time it is, 1:30 something p.m. in the Eastern time zone. It's in the morning in the West Coast. They're having, it's like around dinner time in Europe, but they eat dinner kind of late, so it's not quite dinner yet. And this place where you are right now, this time, this place, God circled on a map for you. So if you can be present in this moment, if you can be present in this moment right now, everything opens up. Everything opens up because this moment is all there is. There's a term that people use now called mindfulness. Mindfulness. I'm a mindfulness coach, which is really actually a mindlessness, which is actually being out of your head and being in the moment, being fully here, being fully now, being present. And that's when everything becomes alive. That's when all the potentialities become possible. That's when everything that you thought was impossible becomes possible, not through thinking, but through unthinking, through being present. So when you have certain situations in your life and you're like, well, how do I make this happen? How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I make this happen, right? You don't think your way into it. You become present in the moment, and in the moment the intelligence informs you where to go, where to move, what to do, what to say, what to do, which direction to go, what decision to make. It's all here in the moment. The moment informs you entirely and completely. So you're present, you're relaxed, you're calm, you're cool, you're collected, you're tuned in to what's here in this moment. You know what to do. You know what to do, and people are like, oh, that's a cool guy, you know, he's like tuned in, he's like relaxed, he knows what to do, he's in the moment, right? So then in that space, we're also going to get into how to achieve goals with a time orientation, with a linear time orientation towards the future. Right now, you start to really master that, right? So a couple areas I look at is your academics, your physical body. You start to really master having goals and achieving goals. And you've delineated for yourself 3 key components, right? Competition, self-improvement, and curiosity. Curiosity is the most important, right?
Right.
Curiosity is the most important. And from that, we have competition and self-improvement. Now, people, my audience, my people listening, they may be surprised. Competition? What? That's not spiritual. That's not a way to like love people. Competition. So tell us why competition is an important component of the 3 tiers.
Well, to me, like I said, I was talking to Annie about this a while back, and you know, I the same kind of like thought came up. You know, competition. Why is it, you know, something that's in there, and like why would like it be in there if it can't, you know, you can't have competition alone. Just put it that way. So the self-improvement and the curiosity has to be in there. You can't have that without the competition. But the competition's in there because it's a very highly motivating factor. I remember when I was in my math class, I had a friend. My friend his name was Jake, and you know, before I even, you know, before that I had really bad grades when I was a sophomore. I didn't try hard. I didn't try hard in math. I didn't have good grades. I wasn't happy with myself, and because I wasn't competing with anybody. I wasn't pushing myself to do better. And when you have somebody to compete with, of course there's that limit that you approach where you're better than them and you stop there. That's where self-improvement comes in, because you can keep going. You're competing with yourself when it comes to self-improvement. But competition is a big factor, because competition is what will help you to motivate yourself, to push farther, to you know, go as far as you can. It's not about other people. It's not about surpassing anybody. It's just about pushing yourself. It's about having that motivation that moves you to where you want to go. If you have a goal in mind and you're competing with other people, then that means that you'll be able to achieve that goal, because you're constantly gonna try to improve yourself and outbeat that person. And funny thing is me and my friend Jake, we weren't enemies, or we weren't anything like that. We were actually best friends. And it was kind of, you know, we would make jokes about it all the time, like, oh yeah, I got the better grade on that math test. You know, we'd make fun of each other for it. And a lot of times it's not even something that's very serious. It's just something that, you know, you do, something that drives you. And that's really what it was for me. Is, you know, I wanted to have the best grade in my math class. That was my goal for the end of the year, and I achieved that goal because I had that competition there. And I, you know, my friend, sucks for him, because, you know, he was, in the times where he was being lazy, I was pushing my hardest. And that's pretty much like, you know, what made me get those great grades. Is not because, you know, there are, like I said, the curiosity and self-improvement are also other important factors, but that competition is really what helped me drive me to where my grades are now.
So you have a sense of competition. Now, competition is a masculine energy. So that's something that this community needs a lot more of. So I'm happy we're bringing this in today, because competition is considered to be negative, but it's not negative. It's a very healthy way to grow, to learn, to evolve between friends, between family, between loved ones, between community. So you think of like a stadium, right? And there's people that are competing in a game together. First of all, they're playing in a game. It's a play. It's a game. It's play. They're playing. They agree upon the rules. They're a part of a stadium that is like a community, right? So everyone is in agreement. Everyone is aligned, and through that alignment, there's a agreed upon competition to improve ourselves. So your competitor is your friend, right? Your competitor is really your best friend. You know, those are the people that challenge you the most, the people that push you to grow the most, to evolve the most, to evolve in your consciousness, to reach beyond what you thought were your potentialities. Those are the people that are your best friends. You know, so it's a different take on competition than we're used to. You're not trying to crush somebody or kill somebody. You're trying to better each other, to be the best person that you can be, and that's a healthy form of competition within the context of community. So one of the great examples, if you watch a boxing match, right, and you see 2 boxers, and they're giving everything they have, like for 12 rounds, and they're trying to punch each other, jab, hook, uppercut, and they're trying to like knock each other out, right? How hard they can knock each other out. And then they go 12 rounds, right? and they're both still standing, then what do they do at the end? They come up and they hug each other. And there's a sense of love, of like, you gave it all we had, you know, and you made me better and I made you better. So there's this love that underlies improvement and making sure the best that we can. Okay, so that's the first component. Second component is curiosity, and we agree this is the most important component. This is the most important component to evolving in your consciousness, to expanding, to growing in all these primary areas of your life. What are the primary areas of your life? If you've been with us, you know the primary areas that we work on are physical self, which is exercise, diet, rest and relaxation, sleep. I've been learning a lot about sleep this week. Amazingly enough, what I've been learning is sleep is more important than diet or exercise in physical health. So sleep is really important. That's something you need to work on a little bit more. Sleep. So physical self, Annie says I do too. Physical self, she's pointing at me. Physical self, mental self, emotional self, physical, mental, emotional, family, relationships, community, work or purpose, finances, and spirit. Spiritual self is the most essential, the root of the tree. So we look at all those primary areas. And curiosity is the core, is the key that will drive you to expand and unlimited potential in all these areas of your life. Why is curiosity the most important factor?
All right, so this is actually, there's a very simple answer to this, and that basically goes back, let's just go back to, hundreds of years ago. When humans were first evolved as a species, we were very curious. We went out, we searched to find new things. Scientists searched, there's certain technology we have today, like a phone, for example. People didn't say, hey, I want to create a phone. They said, let's find out this technology. Like, let's see what we can make out of the materials that the world gave us. And, when people went to the moon, they didn't go because it was a goal that they set. They went because they were curious. They went because they wanted to find out what's there, what's new, what can we explore in the universe. Curiosity, the main reason I have these things, curiosity, self-improvement, competition, is because these are motivating factors. This is what drives people to achieve their goals, to get what they want, all those different things. So the reason why curiosity is so important is because it gives you a wide range of interest in different things, like things you never, just recently I got interested in calisthenics, which is a form of workout where you use your body weight to exercise. You don't use any weights at all, it's just purely body weight. And these guys are doing amazing things like, bar spins, they're doing handstand push-ups, like crazy stuff like that. And I got into it because I was curious. I started following a page on Instagram. I started watching videos of these guys. I watched videos on YouTube about how to do different exercises at home, how to do these different things. And because I was curious, I found out about it and I improved my body. I didn't improve it just because, I said, oh, I want to just get buff. I didn't do that. I improved it because I was curious about what I can do. How far can I push my body? I was curious about the outcome. What would it look like? All these different things I was curious about. It was the same thing in school when I was in my math class. Again, we'll go back, to when I was a sophomore. My grades were really bad, and I wasn't happy with them. But then it came to the next year, my junior year, and I went to my math class. And I would always raise my hand because this year, in my junior year, I wanted to make sure that my grades were better. I wanted to make sure that I did better than I did last year. That was the goal that I set. And those three things helped me do that. And curiosity was one of the main things that helped me. Because what I would do is, I would raise my hand in class. There's some kids who, they just don't care. They don't raise their hand. They're not curious. They're not, enthralled into what they're learning. But I was. I always raised my hand. I stayed after class. When I would stay after class, I would talk to my teacher, for hours. I would skip a Spanish class, just because I was enjoying talking to my teacher for so long. And I really realized that it's so valuable to have that curiosity there. Like, it's such an important factor, and I didn't realize that before, but a lot of people don't have that, and they're not able to learn new things or to achieve new goals because they're not curious. The whole point of life, and the reason why we're so, why humans are such a great species is because we have that curiosity, and it's in our brains. It allows us to grow, to learn, to explore new things, to try out different, areas of our lives, and to improve as human beings. And that's why I think that curiosity is such a strong thing, because without that, I wouldn't be where I am today.
And also, you can never be depressed when you're curious. Curiosity puts you in the moment. I talked about being in the moment, being present, being here, being in this place that's been drawn on the map for you. So you be curious, and curiosity brings you into the moment, brings you into the now. What's happening? What's around me? What are the sounds I hear? What are the sights I hear? What are the smells I hear? You come into this moment and you engage in life, so you can never be depressed. You can never be bored, for sure. There's a sense of curiosity in each moment. So curiosity is the example of this is small children. Small children are innately curious as if they're seeing things for the first time, because they actually are seeing things for the first time, right? But we actually are seeing things for the first time too. We just have come into a space where our minds have been dulled to think that we're not. Oh, here I am in the same house again. Here I am on the same street again. Oh, here I am looking at the same wife again, the same husband again, the same son, the same daughter. But every moment is unique. Every moment is new. Every moment is fresh. Every snowflake is unique, right? So every moment is unique, even if it looks the same, even if you've walked down the street 100 times before. You've never walked down it tonight, right? In this moonlight, in this sunlight, with this kind of radiance around you. Every moment is unique. So this curiosity is the key to intelligence. This curiosity is the key to intelligence. When you're curious, you're intelligent. When you're not curious, you're not intelligent. Really that simple. That's the foundation of intelligence. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you've accumulated. The more knowledge you've accumulated, the more dangerous it can be to not be curious. So the more danger it is to dull your mind. So the more important it is to be curious, and the more important it is to be intelligent from a space of that's rooted in curiosity. So we have this idea that if I have accumulated a lot of knowledge, I'm intelligent. Not the case. Not the case at all. In fact, I don't see any correlation whatsoever. I think curiosity comes from continuing to empty the knowledge that you've accumulated, to continually let go of knowledge you've accumulated, to be open to new knowledge that's fueled by the intelligence of the moment.
And just a note on that. I think a lot of people get confused when I think about curiosity. Of course, I gave the example from my school, but a lot of times curiosity isn't about just learning about new things. It's not purely about knowledge. Like I said with the calisthenics, it was something that I was interested in. Curiosity a lot of times get confused for just something that you're learning and attaining new knowledge, but a lot of times it's just about being interested in things. If you find something that's really cool, like, oh, look at that, there's a place, down the street where people are learning to play guitar, people are learning to play violin, or any type of new talents, like maybe even yoga. Maybe you never tried yoga in your life. Then all of a sudden you see, people on social media or people on YouTube, or you have a friend that's doing yoga or something like that, and you're curious about it. You want to learn about it. You want to see what it's like. What benefits does it have? That is another thing about curiosity too, because a lot of people confuse it for something that you're attaining knowledge, but a lot of times it's just being interested in something and allowing yourself to achieve a goal, allowing yourself to widen your horizon of things, hobbies, things like that, and almost like in the end becoming sort of a well rounded person where you have talents in many areas because you're always interested in new things. And like my dad said, you're not accumulating just knowledge in this area. You're constantly looking for new knowledge. Like, you're not focusing on learning about one thing. You want to learn about multiple things. You want to learn about everything, and that's what being curious is constantly searching for new things and having interest and looking to do these things so you can have a more well-rounded life in general.
Now, you're dedicated to being a Renaissance man.
Correct.
Right? And you are dedicated to self-improvement in all areas of your life.
Yeah.
And having goals in all these areas of your life.
Correct.
Right? Now, why are you dedicated to self-improvement?
Now, self-improvement, to me, self-improvement is just one of those things that you really have to have in your life, because there's a lot of people who they don't want to improve themselves. They don't constantly think about, what can I do today to make myself a better person? And I just as I said with the curiosity, where you look for new interest, self-improvement is the same thing. When you want to improve yourself, you have to constantly look for things you can do that can make you a better person. When I was doing, calisthenics, of course the curiosity drove me there, but the thing that made me work out every other day, the thing that like made me push through the pain of working out, and getting up every day and pushing myself, to do pull-ups, to do push-ups, do all that stuff, that other people probably don't want to do because they don't have the motivation to do it, was that I thought of the outcome. I thought of what's going to be in the future, because a lot of people, they constantly think of, oh yeah, like my dad was saying, you constantly think of the negative things. And the thing that I realized is that everything is in your mind. Your mind is the basis for the entire world. The mind is more powerful than phones. It's more like any technology that's invented is not more powerful than your mind.
Because they're invented by the mind.
Exactly. But another thing too is that the most powerful thing about the mind is that you can choose any painful experience, any negative thing that happened in your life, and make it a positive one. Make it something, a challenge that you've overcame. Make it something like that. And that's part of self-improvement. That's improving, yourself daily, making sure that you're looking for things that you can do that will improve yourself. And a lot of people don't have this, and that's the thing. Like, this is what makes the difference between somebody who really goes far in their life, and it has nothing to do with success, because success to me is defined differently than how society defines success. Society says success is money, it's having a big house, having a mansion, having material things, a nice car, stuff like that. It's not really important. What's important is feeling fulfilled within yourself, and that's why self-improvement is so important. Because if you want, the success, which I think is defined by yourself, whatever you feel is fulfilling to yourself, that comes from self-improvement. That's how you reach that success, is constantly improving yourself day to day, and you're gonna feel fulfilled, guaranteed. If you find something that that you're improving yourself, whether it's a talent, like it could be playing an instrument, it can be exercising daily, it could be expanding your knowledge on certain subjects, millions of things you can do. Whatever you find interesting and whatever is your hobby or your talent, if you're doing that constantly and improving yourself, you will find fulfillment, you will find success. And that's what I think is most important, is having that self-improvement.
So what's going on out there? Any comments interesting that are questions? What?
No comments coming in.
No
yet.
comments.
No
Fantastic.
comments yet.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Love it.
Mhm.
Everyone is just speechless. They're just like, this is just absolutely amazing and astonishing, and I can't even put together a thought. I'm so amazed. I'm so amazed. This is incomprehensible. My life is like a blank palette. I can paint anything I want on it. I can paint the most beautiful masterpiece on it, using my present moment awareness, curiosity, competition, self-improvement. I can take myself anywhere I want to go in the world. Last thing, you set a goal. This is my goal. I want to achieve this goal. How do you achieve the goal?
Alright, so this is one of the things, like I said, where your mind is the most powerful thing. Now, the difference between somebody who doesn't, achieve a goal, and the difference between somebody who does, is you imagine, what the outcome can be. You can imagine the benefits. And the thing is, the difference between somebody with a negative mindset and a positive mindset is somebody with a positive mindset is constantly, achieving things. They're constantly looking for new opportunities to improve themselves, and they're constantly challenging themselves. When you want to achieve a goal, you have to think of what the outcome can be. You have to think of what's the benefit, what can help me in the future. When I started to, do my work on my grades, I thought, well, by the end of this year, I want to have straight A's. That's what I want to do. I want to have straight A's in all my classes. And I constantly thought about that, and every time I felt like lazy, or I felt, I felt like I didn't want to do my homework. At that current moment, I didn't feel like I want to do it. I was down myself. I was tired. But then I thought at the end, I'm like, at the very last report card that I get, I want to see those A's, and that was what kept me going. Like, the entire year, I constantly thought about that end result, that end thing, that like it would make me feel so happy if that would just happen. And that's what I constantly felt about. Like when it was 1 o'clock at night, and I procrastinated the entire night, and I had no energy to do anything. That's what led me to do that one English essay. That's what led me to get my homework done, is just having that end goal of I want those A's. That's all that pushed me there. And it's the same thing with anything else. Like with the calisthenics, I see those guys on YouTube, and I see that they had 3 years of progress, and I look at them, I say that I want that to be me. That I want to be that guy in the future. I want to be the guy who's doing bar spins, handstand push-ups. I want to be that guy. And that's what really drives people. That's what really makes you achieve that goal, is if you constantly have that end result in mind. And another thing too is you want to take small steps too. You never want to go full out on something. Make sure that you're constantly doing something every day. Like, make sure if you want to have a goal, you're doing something every day to add to it. Like if you, let's say, you have a goal that you want to become skilled in piano, and you see people, you want to be like them. You want to get to this. You have a goal in mind. You want to be a certain play piano a certain way, and you want to do this, and you want to achieve this goal of playing this way, playing at this speed, whatever it may be, playing a certain song or whatever. And before you get to that point, before that's your end result, that's your end goal. But before you get to that, you want to have steps along the way. If you don't have those small steps, you'll never make it. Lao Tzu said, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with 1 step. That's what you have to remember. You have to take that 1 step. You can't procrastinate, because that's a big problem that a lot of people have. It's procrastination, and that's why they have like I said, if you just have the end result, that's good, but that's not enough. What you need to have is you need to constantly be doing stuff, and you need to think, like my dad said, you need to be in the moment. That's another important thing. And when you're in the moment, you realize that this moment, you can't waste this moment. The good thing about being in the moment is that you realize that time is essential, and you can't waste time. If you're in the moment, you realize I need to do something now, and I need to improve myself now. And that's what I think is so fundamental about being in the moment, is that you realize that this moment, you can't waste it. You have to use it while it's there. Time is limited. If you want to achieve this goal at a certain time period, you have to do stuff now. So I think if you continuously do something like day after day, let's say you dedicate, back to the piano thing, you dedicate an hour each day to playing piano, or 2 hours, or whatever.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah, it doesn't even matter. If you're doing something consistently, it's okay.
Or 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
And the most important thing is to do it and accomplish it and make it happen.
Yeah.
So this moment is where it happens. This moment right now is where it happens. So be bold, be courageous. Look at your limitations, your perceived limitations, what you think are your limitations, and go beyond your limitations. Go to the place that's uncomfortable. I don't encourage people to be comfortable. I encourage people to be uncomfortable. That's what I encourage. So if you feel uncomfortable, or if you feel comfortable right now, then there's an edge of uncomfortability that feels alive, that feels invigorating, that feels energizing, right? You're stepping into unknown territory. You're stepping into spaces you've never gone before, you've never been to before. So that could be traveling around the world like we just did, to Egypt and Latvia and Istanbul. It can be that, but it doesn't need to be that. In fact, in overwhelming majority of the cases, it's not that. What it is internal. You're traveling internally to places in your consciousness that are new, that are uncharted territory, that are uncharted waters. And if it feels a little bit uncomfortable, if it feels a little bit scary, you're probably going the right direction. What's not exciting. What's exciting is also a little bit scary. What's a little bit scary is also a little bit excited. So be really, really excited. Be really, really scared. Be really, really courageous. Be really, really bold. Be really, really in love. Be really, really, really in the deepest place of peace. Discover that deepest place of peace inside yourself. That liberated expansion, that space of unbounded freedom inside yourself. The empowered place inside yourself. Know who you really are and express yourself fully in the world.
And a comment on you said the be uncomfortable. I think that's a really important thing, actually. The problem for me that I used to have in the future, and I still have somewhat today, and I'm trying to work on it, is social anxiety. And I think that's a really big problem in today's society, is because a lot of kids are born with technology and they don't really talk a lot. and they may stay inside, play video games or whatever, and they don't really get out, and they don't really talk to new people. And the thing that I realized is the only way to beat that social anxiety that I had was leaving my comfort zone. That was what it was. And I think you can actually find guys online that do stuff like this. It's called comfort zone challenging. And basically what it is these guys go out, they do crazy stuff. They go like to a subway where there's a bunch of people, and they'll lay on the ground like this, and they'll just lay there, and they want to see like what all these people do. And the main point of doing that is so they don't end up caring about what these people think about them. They don't end up caring about because people, when they have social anxiety, they go into a social situation where there may be like 5 people around them, and they're just uncomfortable because they're like, all these people are watching me. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I and that's really how I used to be. I used to be a really shy kid, and the thing is like, for and this can be for any situation, you just need to challenge yourself. You need to get outside of that comfort zone, because yes, there is a certain point where you get, obviously, if it's a dangerous situation, you're too much outside of your comfort zone. If it feels really uncomfortable, you don't want to do that. But there is a certain limit, that you go to where you feel uncomfortable, and if you're at that, that's the only way that you can grow. If you constantly stay in this, it's almost the same thing as like if you stay in your house all day. If you stay in your house all day, you're not going to get anything done. But if you leave your house, if you do things, that's how you're going to get stuff done. And I think that like that's a really important thing is being uncomfortable a lot of the time, because that's the only way that you can grow. It's like the same thing if you're building muscle. If you're building muscle, if you don't feel the pain, your muscle fibers won't break, and they won't rebuild as bigger muscle. You're just gonna have the same muscle you always had.
Right.
So you want to get to that uncomfortable spot so you can grow as a human being, because a lot of people don't realize, and a lot of people don't want to take the time to be in that uncomfortable spot. I had a friend where he constantly would tell me like, I don't want to do that. I was like, hey dude, let's go to gym. Let's why don't we go make friends with those guys over there? And he would constantly be uncomfortable all the time. He was always I don't know, he was like, it was like he was in a shell, and he never wanted to break out of that shell. And I think it's important that people really take a step to break out of that shell, because that's what's gonna make you into a new person. That's what's gonna help you grow. And just back again to the social anxiety example, those guys, they would constantly they would do crazy stuff like lay in the subway in front of a lot of people. They would go up to random people, ask them weird questions like, do you like carrots, stuff like that. Like it, and it seems like weird. It seems like weird stuff and unnecessary, but it really does help people. If you go out of your comfort zone, as uncomfortable as it may seem, as weird as it may seem, it really will help you. If in the long run, it really will help you.
Thanks everybody for being here. And let me tell you a couple ways to plug in. The private group, the Secret Glow online community, I'm on every Wednesday. So I'll put a link in, but it's the bigglow.com/online. So that's our private group. You can catch me in there, and our community, and Gio's going to be in there more. And then we have the silent retreat coming up at the end of the month, August 31st. So that's 4 days together, and that's going to be really powerful. Personal sessions. I got 2 books: The Big Glow and The Wild and Now. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and we will see you all in the next Now. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day.